Right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the Bytecoin pump and dump that is currently going on, and then we're going to get into some more news stuff. So I was just out riding my motorcycle in glorious sunny Mesa. It's only 103 degrees outside. That's not too bad. So yeah, I'm boiling hot right now, but whatever, we'll just go with it. So first and foremost, we've seen a Bytecoin increase, something pretty awful here, and pull it back to the 7-day, makes it a little bit more visible, and you can see just this gigantic wall of buying here. So this is a very sophisticated pump and dump that's going on right now. We're now at 3 cents for Bytecoin, and that might not seem like that much. Well, what's 3 cents? Thing is that there is 183 billion current Bytecoin coins in circulation. So do the math. That basically puts Bytecoin in the top market cap, where it certainly does not belong at the moment. That might even put it, I haven't particularly done the math myself personally just yet, but that puts it in at least the top 5 or top 10 at the worst market cap at the moment. But it's really only on Binance where the price is that high. So here's a nice Reddit post that kind of brings a little bit of light to it. So just want to shine some light on what's going on with Bytecoin, as it is one of the most sophisticated pump and dumps. So let me briefly tell you what happened earlier today. Bytecoin was trading at around 72 Satoshi on both Hitbit, Bitcoin, and Poloniex, quickly increasing 30% when the news of the Binance listing came along. It opened on Binance at around 300 Satoshi, and just the past few hours, the price has risen to 2,320 Satoshi on Binance. Whereas the current price on Hit, Bitcoin, and Poloniex is only at 190 Satoshi. That's a pretty big difference. This isn't even Korean exchanges and the difference of their prices. So this is pretty extreme. So to put this into perspective, the circulating supply of Bytecoin is 183 billion, whereas the current price on Binance is 22 cents. 22 cents. This puts Bytecoin, I'm just flopping all over myself here, on a market cap of $40 billion right now, on the third position, right between Ethereum and Ripple. So I've been following it closely and found that withdrawals from Hit, Bitcoin, and Poloniex were not working, nor was the Bytecoin web wallet. So when checking their blockchain explorer, we find that no new blocks have been mined for the past 2 hours. The trading on Bytecoin started at 6:02 UTC, and since that time, only 46 blocks have been mined, containing a total of 997 transactions. The number of transactions that went through seems very small for a coin that just went up over 32 times in a few hours. Thus, most investors are not actually able to sell their Bytecoin on Binance. The current Bytecoin supply that's on Binance is very low, and therefore it's easy to pump up the price all the way to 32 times its original price. This caused a 150% surge on exchanges such as Hit, Bitcoin, and Poloniex. So not saying that Bytecoin team is involved, but it seems very shady that their coin got listed at a time that nearly no one is able to move the tokens towards Binance. More importantly, I think it's curious that Binance still listed a coin that is nearly impossible to move around and thus easy to manipulate. We've seen the same kind of pumps happening on coins that couldn't be moved around, for example, Bitcoin Diamond. Of course, these things happen in unregulated markets. However, I think that Binance should take a stance on this, as these kind of events hurt the reputation of the crypto markets, especially the regular Joe will get burned by trading a coin like this. So there's an edit. After 11 and a half hours after the trading started, Binance finally came with an announcement regarding the deposit issues. We as a community should let them know that this is definitely way too late. Due to Bytecoin network issues, deposits and withdrawals are experiencing severe delays. The Bytecoin project team is working to resolve the issue. Please be cautious of high price volatility and trade with caution. So we're going to see a massive dump of Bytecoin very, very soon, and it will come back to probably one of its lower prices very, very soon. This is very, very non-organic, and anybody that's holding on to Bytecoin right now shouldn't be really jumping for joy Perhaps if you can sell it now. I would recommend. I'm just throwing that out there. Half court shot, just like a buzzer beater shot, just throwing it out there. Just in case. So there's no way that it's going to stay at 3 cents for very long. Right now, there's nobody's really mining it, so nobody can move it around on the network. So that was basically the in the post here. So 3 cents is going to drop very, very soon. So if you do have this on any exchange, I would recommend probably getting rid of this. I mean, you can probably you should always do your own research, but at this point, if I had it on Binance or any of the exchanges where its price is pumped 150 or 32 times, I would be selling it immediately, because for sure it's going to dump very, very soon. So we had 2 Bytecoin market caps up for some reason. Lots of coins down right now. So coin market cap doesn't actually show Bytecoin in the 2 and 3 slot here, and that's just because its market cap should be like something like 48 billion. Where was it? 40 billion. So that would put it just over Ripple and just below Ethereum, somewhere about 30 billion below Ethereum. So just because it hasn't updated yet, and it really shouldn't update, because this is going to dump long before CoinMarketCap is going to update the fact that it's at $40 billion, which is just not true. So yeah, I would pawn that off as quickly as you can. So the economics of Ethereum's coming consensus change are taking shape. 1,500 Ether, that's how much cryptocurrency users will need to participate in testing Ethereum's upcoming consensus protocol. Oh, only 1,500? Wow, what a deal. You know what that makes me think of? That Continental skit from Key and Peele, or whatever their names are. Absolutely great show. I don't even think it's on the air anymore, but you can certainly YouTube it, and just YouTube like Key and Peele Continental, and it's just like, only 1,500 Ethereum. What a deal. Casper. So at least according to the blockchain's creator, Vitalik Buterin, during the final day of an Ethereum conference in Toronto last week, Buterin took the stage to discuss his version of the software designed to change the way those running the software reach agreement. So Ethereum has been going under many, many changes to proof of stake, and so Casper is the transition from proof of work to proof of stake. And during this transition, you can do proof of work and proof of stake until it finally transitions to proof of stake. So called Casper, FFG, the algorithm has recently seen notable progress, and Buterin said at the event he expects the pace of experimentation to quicken. Heralded as a more egalitarian form of keeping the global software in sync, proof of stake enables users to set aside funds whereby they act as virtual mining machines. As such, Buterin spent his time on stage outlining the protocol and how the change will alter participation in the network. So anybody that just doesn't know, a real quick reminder, proof of work is what we know, what we do now. So when you fire up CC Miner or NiceHash or Awesome Miner or any of these miners, and you start mining currency and you're gaining little bits of currency, that is proof of work. And then proof of stake is essentially what I just read. But, you know, the easiest way for an example of proof of work, proof of stake, is like a savings account. You're essentially just staking your coins on a wallet, and then eventually over time you're getting additional coins. And the more coins you have, the more coins are coming in, just like a savings account. Whereas today, users must buy specialized hardware, Buterin explained that participating in Casper will first require submitting a minimum of 1,500 Ethereum, or just over $1 million. Oh, sure, let me just transfer over 1,500 Ethereum. That's not too big of a deal. I was getting worried for a second there. I thought it was going to be 2,400 Ethereum. I was like, whoa, that's going to break the bank. But just $1 million, oh, that's not a problem. Well, 1,500 Ethereum might seem like a large sum of money. Whoever said that? 1,500 Ethereum, that's nothing. $1 million. I mean, who doesn't? If you don't have 1,500 Ethereum, do you even crypto, bro? I mean, let's get real. Buterin emphasized that nodes with less Ether can participate in a pool or a group of nodes that work together and split the profits. So Casper will hopefully be one of the more joyous experiences in Ethereum in a fairly short time. The high price is due to, in part, to Ethereum's current scaling challenges. Excuse me, I got something in my throat. Must have been driving along, got a bug in my throat or something. However, once sharding, a scaling solution that works by splitting up the blockchain into smaller chunks, is implemented, Buterin estimates this figure will be around 32 Ethereum. Oh, no big deal. 32 Ethereum. I mean, 32 Ethereum is nothing. I just flip a quarter and it has a 32 Ethereum private key on there to like a young kid that's looking to shine shoes, like a homeless kid. And I'm like, buy yourself a house, 32 Ethereum, who cares, Still, even users with less available crypto will be able to experiment with staking on Casper testnet, which is currently running on a handful of nodes soon. The developer said, you will soon be able to stake soon with a trademark, so that's more than 2 weeks. So a how-to. Elsewhere in his speech, Buterin gave a breakdown of the various steps involved in setting up a Casper validator, or a node that will participate in the Ethereum proof-of-stake protocol. For developers, Buterin explained, the Casper FFG code offers a lot of customization freedom. In the first stage of the setup, for instance, nodes have the option to introduce features like multiple keys and additional security. For non-developers, the process of configuring Casper code may seem complicated, but Buterin said that for most users, the setup phase will be as simple as clicking a button. What? So that was really confusing. So it's gonna be hard, right? Developers need to set this up, and then for non-developers, it may seem complicated, but for most users, the setup will be as simple as clicking a button. Explosion of my skull. What does that even mean? Because as simple as clicking a button is simple, and it shouldn't be complicated for most people. Or is clicking a button too complicated for most people? I'm so confused. Let's move on. So I can't wait for that. I will try to maybe do some videos on staking Ethereum in the future. So the Federal Reserve 2018 Bitcoin price dropped tied to launch of futures market. So last year we saw Bitcoin, the largest cryptocurrency by means of market capitalization, peak at 20K, marking an increase of more than 1,300%. However, in the first quarter of 2018, the cryptocurrency has lost more than half its value. So at the time, it's 9,100. So a decline marked by the launch of futures market. According to research carried out by the Federal Reserve of San Francisco, the serious drop after the surge of Bitcoin's price was directly tied to the launch of the futures market in the report, researchers note. So I made a video on this actually a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, on how the futures market and various other aspects sort of ruined the 20K of Bitcoin. So the rapid run-up and subsequent fall in price after introduction of futures does not appear to be a coincidence. It is consistent with trading behavior that typically accompanies the introduction of futures markets for an asset. In mid-2017, Chicago Mercantile Exchange launched its Bitcoin futures contracts. The same day, the digital currency reached its all-time high of 20,000. And I made a video on this, so if you guys want to go back, I think it's I can't remember what I titled it. It's something about the futures. Did the futures market destroy Bitcoin or something like that? You can basically just search on my channel futures, you'll probably find it. And the next day, maybe like a day and a half afterwards, is when the price went whoop and just totally bombed. So what does it all mean? Think about it this way. Before the futures market, which it was introduced, there was no way for investors who were pessimistic about Bitcoin's price to bet against it apart from not investing at all. Yet as the prices keep surging, those who felt more positive about its future movements kept pouring in cash, leading to the aforementioned all-time high. So in other words, the pessimists had nothing to do but wait, in the words of the Fed researchers themselves. So they were left to wait for their I told you so moment. The launch of the Bitcoin futures allowed pessimists to enter the market, which contributed to the reversal of the Bitcoin price dynamics. To make things easier to digest, the research compares the situation of Bitcoin to the market's reaction to securities, which are backed by mortgages. It shares the same patterns when it comes to pessimistic and optimistic traders. So here's my thoughts on all that. Just because a futures market comes up and now you can bet against Bitcoin does not mean that the price is going to go from 20,000 to 6,000. I think there's a lot of outside forces that realized it was way too late to get into Bitcoin at 20,000 apiece. Even millionaires, maybe even billionaires. So you might think, well, what's 20,000 if you have $1 million? Or what's 20,000 if you have $1 billion? Well, in reality, not that much. However, um, you know, they when you have a futures market, then a lot of people can do a lot of fudding and a lot of price dipping. There's a lot of outside forces in the world that, the unspeakable forces that really want to see Bitcoin go down, or and then some really want Bitcoin to go up. So I'm not really sure exactly what caused the price to go down. There was, of course, the Mt. Gox sell-off. There was the futures markets. There was a ton of FUD. There was the tax FUD, where everybody was saying, oh, the price is going down because everybody's paying their taxes. And I think all of these things combined led to the price of it going down. And then when more and more people realized that the price was starting to dip and that they could short the market, they really pressed all their powers that be to drop the market as soon as possible. Because even if you got $1 million, what's a better price, $20,000 or Bitcoin at $6,600? You can get a lot more Bitcoin for that. So, here's the conclusion: is that just because crypto is crypto and it's not connected to the governments does not mean it's safe from whales, right? There's we all try to mine crypto, we all try to trade crypto, and we're all hoping that we can get away from the 1%, that we can get away from Wall Street, that we can get away from the governments. But that's just not the case, because people with more money than you will always be able to outperform you in just about anything financial. And just because it's not dollar bills or euros doesn't mean that these millionaires, billionaires can't just be pouring in money and doing things haphazardly as they wish. So I want to talk about this real quick. I'm not going to read this whole article because it's more like a how-to. And so I've gotten a few emails about 3 commas. Like I said, YouTubers that have a crypto channel, they get bombarded with all kinds of advertisement emails, whether it be ICOs or this, that, or the other thing. We get a ton of them. And I'm not saying like I'm special and that like I get these emails. No. If you have a crypto channel and you have like 1,000 like subscribers or something like that, you're easily noticeable in the crypto world. And all you have to do is just type in some things into YouTube and find dozens of crypto YouTubers and then shill them something. So they'll send it to everybody. They'll send it to me and everybody else. Like, oh, we would like to pay you to market this ICO, or we would pay you to do this, or this, that, or the other thing, or what's your price for this, that, or the other thing. 99% of those emails, boop, 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 just get deleted by me because I can't testify if they are going to be legit or not. Also, I can't personally invest into every single ICO that pops up into my email, so therefore I can't give you a good measure of how good this ICO is. And plus, a portion, I'm all over the place. A portion of these ICOs are complete scams anyway. So I can't just be like, hey, everybody invest into this ICO and I'll make some money. And then when, it goes under and disappears, I'm out nothing, or I made money and you guys lost everything. Like, that's just not how I'm going to, it's just not going to happen. If I do promote an ICO or some kind of thing, it's because I use it or because I thoroughly believe in it. That's it. So 3 commas is an exchange that popped up, and it is interesting as of yet. That's it. It's not amazing. So 3 commas is an exchange. You can trade and stuff. But one of the big things about it is it has automated trading bots that you can set up and trade for you. Now that sounds great. So I looked into this, and I went on the website. I signed up with an account, and I put in a Binance API to check this bot and to see how it works. So I haven't yet turned on the bot, but I did a lot of research on the bot, and it's not looking that great. So first and foremost, 3 commas takes 50% of your bot's trading. So 50% of the profits goes right to 3 commas. So there's these different levels that you can buy in at. I'm not sure if it's going to show a picture here of these accounts that you can buy. So for $0, not paying at all, you can just get a regular old account, and you can still trade. You can still use your bot, but it's going to take 50%. Of your trades. And you think, well, that's not too bad if it's just running all the time, right? Well, no, it's not good. Trust me. I'm getting to that. the thing is to pay those fees, you need to first put on Bitcoin on to 3 commas to be able to trade, to be able to, for your bot to actually have those fees, because those fees don't come out of your profit that you make from the trading, because you have to put in see the API key here. You have to put in a Binance account, which is there's so many accounts here, but that's just false. Only Binance will allow you to do the trading bot here. So I'm not sure where that is coming from, because I was just on the site. So when you put in your API key, you link it to Binance, you put in some Bitcoin on Binance, and you could trade Bitcoin to Litecoin. You could do that all day, and the bot will trade. And but it doesn't make much. So nobody I have seen in these reviews or anything like that, or any of the research I've done, has made any kind of decent amount of money with these bots. One, because it's taking 50% of their profit, and two, because you have to put Bitcoin onto 3 commas to take that profit. So let's say you make $1 with your bot, and that's 50 cents, because 50% of that is 50 cents. So that's 50 cents of Bitcoin now taken out of your 3 commas trading portfolio. So it's just not good. And you can pay $30 or $100 a month or something like that, and you can not have to pay those fees, but then you have to pay this big chunk of money up front. And the bot is just not that great. It doesn't have any kind of shorting feature where you can just stop, like a stop loss, and stop your losses and get out. You can cancel the bot, you can stop the bot, or you can just have the bot just sell everything and liquidate it right away. But if Bitcoin is crashing, it doesn't know what to do, essentially, and it won't work so good. So 3 commas I cannot recommend just yet. However, if they upgrade their system a little bit, I will make some videos on 3 commas, because it is a very interesting exchange. I hope you guys check it out. Like I said, I don't have any kind of link for you. I could probably provide one, but right now I'm not really sure that I believe in the exchange enough to do that. So if I do make a video on that, I'll have like some shill links for you guys to click on if you want. But either way, I can't recommend using this bot on 3 commas. It's very easy to set up, but you could easily just day trade and make much more money than this bot, because its fees are atrocious. They're egregious fees for sure. Now moving on, IOTA announced its partnership with Porsche, and the token price surges. Oh, who would have thought? IOTA's token price has jumped over 18% on the news that it will work with luxury car maker Porsche for startup Autobahn's Project 4. IOTA announced that it would work together with German automaker Porsche on the program for project, which was backed by the platform startup Autobahn. IOTA and Porsche will work along with other startups on a program focused on smart mobility. The news supported IOTA's token price, which surged 19% in the last 24 hours. The Porsche Lab is looking forward to working with the IOTA token. So it's the ultimate innovation platform that unites tech companies with the tech expertise of Silicon Valley and the best of German engineering. So startup Autobahn was founded by Daimler, the company behind Mercedes-Benz brand Plug and Play University in Stuttgart. It focuses on technology-driven projects that revolve around the future of mobility. IOTA's token, referred to as MIOTA, at one point added 19% for the day, reaching a peak of 259. It has since retracted to 243. The cryptocurrency ranks 9th on CoinMarketCap with a capitalization of $6.7 billion. So this is not the first time that IOTA has partnered with an automaker. Earlier, it announced a collaboration with Volkswagen, one of the largest car manufacturers in the world, to work on smart cars and decentralized platforms. So Bosch also expressed its interest in trying an IOTA platform for driverless cars. So IOTA doing pretty good. So I do recommend picking up a little bit of IOTA. IOTA's going places. Usually, like the top 10, 20-ish coins that you see on CoinMarketCap are is a pretty good, worthwhile investment. If you have a couple grand or something like that, and you're like, I don't know which one to put money into, why not just put $100 into the top 20, on Binance or something like that? Have it all on there. Now, again, not everybody recommends having all their coins and things like that on an exchange. You could put them all in their own respective wallets. That's fine. Make sure you secure your coins, of course. I'm not saying, just haphazardly buy and leave them laying around. But, if you bought $100 on Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Ripple, all that such, all the way down for the top 20 coins, I know that's a couple grand, but it's a pretty good idea, because a lot of these coins, because Bitcoin sometimes goes, sure, if Bitcoin goes back up to 20,000, that's about 2 times the increase or so, a little bit more. But if some of these coins, say for example, actually we can just take a look here. For example, Vertcoin is just kind of a favorite coin of mine. If it goes all the way back to the all-time high, which was $10, as you can see, that is an increase of 4 times because it's at about 250. Let's just round it out to 250 right now. So that's a fourfold increase. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is at 9180, and it was once at, let's just round it to 20,000. So that's just a little over 2 times the profit. So you can see how the altcoins can go up more and down faster than Bitcoin can. And I believe by the end of the year, we're going to see much higher prices than we are now through innovation and implementation, if you will. So it wouldn't be a bad idea. So, for example, $100 in Vertcoin, and it goes back to $10, $400. That's incredible. So your $2,000 could go up, to 4, 6, 10. Who even knows? So it could be a pretty good idea. I think just holding on to your coins for a long time. If you don't feel that you're a good day trader, that's fine. But hold on to your coins till December. December is usually the time to sell, and then you wait like about a month or a month and a half till about February or mid-January, and that's usually when you will see one of the lowest times throughout the year, regardless of other dips throughout the year. So just by buying in January, selling in December, then rebuying in January, and doing that over and over, if you do that for a few years and then sell and then finally just take all your profit, you will be doing quite well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as usual, I will see you guys next time.